and thank you for tuning into BrandPlus TV. It's always a delight knowing that you've taken your time and are keeping us company. My name is Ndiro Ganga, ready to bring you up to speed with all the top stories making headlines. And as you know, we're all about business. Here's a glance of those stories. Institute of Directors' second annual corporate governance conference. It's good corporate governance or nothing. 21st Nairobi International Book Fair. Former Premier Raila Odinga challenges authors. International Finance Corporation 2018 results. It's big promises by the International Finance Corporation. Thank you for staying with us. Now on to our top story. The Institute of Directors Kenya today commenced the second annual corporate governance conference at the Movenpick Hotel and Residences in Nairobi. With the theme Good Governance, an enabler for socio-economic transformation, the event saw various thought leaders reinforce the fact that the East African region will only realize its full economic potential if it adopts good corporate governance. Take a look at that story. The governance conference on its first day brought together leaders from various sectors of the economy, with the state of corporate governance in the country being one of the key discussion points. Halake Wako, CEO Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, says that Kenya must find a way of enforcing the laws put in place to promote good corporate governance in the country.
There is need for good governance and good corporate governance, and that is why we have no shortage when it comes to laws and even the constitution and the constitutional framework. The problem we have is enforcement of what we have outlined for ourselves as people to manage our affairs in a proper sense, whether economically, politically, and even socially. And that's why you find that we have laws. Most of the times our problem lies in where we do not enforce our rules and regulations as expected, as outlined. Before that, it requires discussion and dialogue.
While Kenya is not short of laws that seek to uphold good corporate governance, the country still suffers from poor governance due to lack of goodwill. As a result, Duncan Water, Chairman Institute of Directors Kenya, highlights the fact that Kenya continues to suffer from stunted economic growth in comparison to its peers that practice good corporate governance.
The biggest challenge that we're facing in this part of the world is the fact that we don't enforce our corporate governance. We have laws, we have institutional bodies that are charged with that, but they don't enforce. You don't see, you hear a lot about corruption. And it's good now we're starting to see some arrests. What we don't see are people in jail or people paying for not observing corporate governance guidelines. When there's lack of good corporate governance, this does not work. And that's where you have companies that are closing. And not just in the corporate world, also in the political space. When there's no good political governance, then these companies cannot run. And that's the problem Africa is facing.
While the ills of poor corporate governance are clear for all to see, the opportunities presented by good corporate governance are immense, as Celestine Munda, country managing partner EY, clearly illustrates in her address.
When we have good governance, it increases access to finance. It means it is easier, the processes are easier to navigate, they are transparent, they are visible, the laws are clear, and it means that we are able to attract larger investments to trigger economic growth and therefore employment. It also means that the cost of capital goes down, just as we've just talked about. So the cost of capital goes down, you have better credit, you're able to attract investors to the East African community.
The problem spills beyond our borders and into the East African region, leading to trade disagreements in the region. On this, Mushai Kunyiha, Vice Chairperson, Kenya Association of Manufacturers, notes that if there is cohesion and good governance in the East African region, then intra-trade is set to bring member states economic benefits.
We all know that once you start losing financially, and a lot of governance, poor governance will lead to financial losses. And once the money goes, then the businesses will start to suffer. And you suffer in many ways. One, the businesses themselves have been collapsing where they have not been able to control themselves.
From the first day of the conference, it is evident that the East African region and Africa at large can live up to its full potential, but only if good corporate governance practices are adopted and ingrained in the national cultures. International Finance Corporation, an organization of the World Bank and a member of the World Bank Group, is the largest global development institution focused on the private sector in emerging markets. Today, IFC announced a new record investment commitment of $6.2 billion in long-term financing in sub-Saharan Africa for its 2018 fiscal year, up from $3.5 billion in the previous fiscal year. Our reporter Karari John attended the presser and packaged the following report.
While releasing the report, International Finance Corporation Director, Sub-Saharan Africa, Omar Saidi, opened the press briefing with an address on IFC's commitment in Sub-Saharan Africa.
IFC's invested $1.5 billion from its own account and achieved $4.7 billion in co-mobilization. That's the money that is coming for partner institutions that co-invest with us in our various projects. And in line with our strategic priorities, we invested $3.5 billion in infrastructure and natural resources, $1.2 billion in manufacturing, agribusiness and services, $1.1 billion in financial markets, and $100 million in telecommunications, media, and technologies. As you know, IFC also provides advisory services to its clients. During the last financial year, our advisory services portfolio reached $400 million in our region.
IFC's activities support development impacting the lives of millions in Africa. IFC's financial institution clients provided more than 2.9 million loans to micro, small and medium enterprises. Power generation by IFC clients benefited 32 million people in Africa, while water distribution reached 2.5 million. IFC project impacted more than 1 million farmers, and 1.4 patients were served by healthcare providers supported by IFC. IFC clients employed more than 278,000 people.
Different types of innovation.
IFC's Vice President for Middle East and Africa, Sergio Pimenta, pointed out there is progress in sub-Saharan Africa, but there is a gap for more investment, and IFC is committed to bridge this deficit.
The reduction from extreme poverty has been from 60 to 40%. Mortality of children under 5 has halved, and millions more children are going to school now. The incidence of preventable diseases such as AIDS, malaria, and tuberculosis is falling. The share of those with access to clean water and better sanitation has risen. Yet, the continent still faces immense development challenges. 650 million people lack access to electricity, 350 million to clean water, and less than 1% have broadband access. And according to the latest numbers published by the World Bank, half of the poor in the world now reside in sub-Saharan Africa. Addressing those challenges calls for the efforts of all. At IFC, we are determined to ensure that private sector contributes to this effort. As today, I'm very happy and...
With the continent in mind, IFC is implementing a new strategy to support investors willing to take up more risk in investing in sub-Saharan Africa. They intend to use capital, expertise, and influence to create market and opportunities. This is in realization of the power of the private sector wield in effort to end extreme poverty. Reporting for BrandPlus TV, I am Karari John, Wambugu.
So it's about roads in Kenya which are...
The 21st Nairobi International Book Fair that is organized by the Kenya Publishers Association was officially opened by Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga at the Sarit Center Expo Hall in Nairobi. The book fair, which started yesterday and ends on Sunday, is aptly themed books for nurturing skills. Our reporter Daisy Wambua witnessed the occasion and has more details.
Speaking while officiating the opening of the book fair, Honorable Raila Odinga said that productive citizens are made up in schools and that the publishers need to look for new ways to make sure that libraries do not get extinct in an effort to have informed citizens.
Informed and productive citizens are created around schools, books, bookshops and libraries. Publishers, therefore, need to pursue innovative ways of ensuring bookshops and libraries exist even in the remotest parts of our countries as a way of helping ensure that we have an informed citizenry.
He continued to encourage the publishers to partner with the government in creating ways that ensure that libraries and bookshops remain attractive to the younger generations.
We need to partner with governments to make our libraries and bookshops welcoming and attractive, especially to young readers. And more importantly, authors, publishers, and booksellers need to join hands and lobby for the creation of an agency dedicated to solely the promotion of reading in all our countries, especially in Africa.
The Kenya Publishers Association chairperson Lawrence Njagi stated that they were committed to the implementation of a new curriculum which is crucial to the attainment of the economic development, given that all Big Four agenda sectors are all tied to education.
But commitment, a lot of commitment from the publishers, and specifically, especially when we have a new curriculum, like we do have the new competency-based curriculum. And Your Excellency, the new competency-based curriculum is it's an extremely different animal from the current curriculum as we know it. And that is why we have been very vocal as publishers that the children who are here, the material should be availed to them.
He then beseeched the government to do away with the value-added tax on books, as it makes them unaffordable, making education a very expensive affair, even in the era of free education.
VAT is an end-user tax, and therefore it is not the publishers that pay the tax, it is the consumers. The practice worldwide is that books and indeed information materials are exempted from any kind of taxation.
Mary Minor, the chairperson of the Nairobi International Book Fair, stated that books are an important part of the growth of the country and thus the need to equip ourselves with the right materials for attainment of knowledge.
In the world, a nation can never hope to prosper if her citizens, right from the foundation stages, are not exposed to the right information.
They say knowledge is power, and we must all endeavor to attain this power. Our challenge today is for you to pick a book and translate the knowledge gained into economic benefits for the country. For BrandPlus TV Business News, I am Daisy Wambua.
As a result of pressure,
the Ministry of ICT Principal Secretary Jerome Ochieng, together with the Charge d'Affaires of Chinese Embassy in Kenya, Li Zhuhang, today flagged off the 5th cohort of students from the Huawei Seeds for the Future program. Take a look at that story.
The students' visit to China is meant to have them get hands-on experience of the latest ICT technologies and solutions while experiencing the unique Chinese language and culture. Stone He, the CEO at Huawei Kenya, during his address noted that it is through such strategic partnerships that they, Huawei, are able to nurture and tap top talent that are key in driving digital transformation, which in turn contributes to the Big Four agenda.
Our new sustainability report, not only are we committed to acting the responsibility, but we are also committed to using our innovation product and solution to support Kenya. So everything we do is in a partnership with our operator customers and enterprise customers, government customers, and even our consumer. So we have a very strong strategic partnership with the Kenya government.
He went on to emphasize that they will continue to honor the commitment made during His Excellency President Uhuru Kenyatta's visit to Huawei headquarters in Beijing in May 2017 by continuously expanding the Seeds for the Future program and other initiatives meant to enhance local ICT talent.
Beginning of this month, we joined the FOCA in Beijing, and we meet with President Ms. Kenyatta to discuss how Huawei can work further with the Kenya government to using the ICT technology to driving the Big Four agent. So we work together with government and especially the Minister of ICT in many areas. This includes technology solution, skill, innovation, and also the ecosystem buildings.
Present at the event was the Principal Secretary State Department ICT and Innovation, Jerome Ochieng, who acknowledged that ICT plays a critical role in Kenya's socio-economic development and that it is an enabler for achieving the Big Four agenda.
It is really delighting to be here today, actually, and especially to join the 2018 Seed of the Future flag-off and the launch of the Huawei Kenya Sustainable Report by Huawei Technologies Kenya Limited, together with the ICT Authority, which is one of the state corporations under the State Department of ICT and Innovation. Allow me, first of all, to acknowledge the achievements made by some of this country's best ICT students who have excelled in their internship and therefore will be rewarded with a life-changing trip to Huawei headquarters in Shenzhen, China, for training over this weekend. Let us applaud the students.
He further noted the importance of the public-private sector partnerships, such as the one with Huawei, in an effort to find the best solutions and implement them for the realization of Kenya's digital transformation. He also commended Huawei for launching their first country-specific corporate sustainability report in Africa.
ICT will play a very big role in attainment of the Big Four agenda, and we require and we need very many partners to work together with us in achieving the Big Four agenda. We always say ICT is cross-cutting.
The Charge d'Affaires of the Chinese Embassy in Kenya, Mr. Li Zhuhang, mentioned that the innovation brought by M-Pesa can be compared to the changes that Alibaba has created in China, and emphasized on the importance of people-to-people exchanges, and revealed that on an average, a Chinese company employs 360 more local staff compared to other companies.
Kenya is widely praised by ICT innovation, such as mobile payment and transfer. I was told M-Pesa. In China, there is a famous company named Alibaba. They have Alipay. But I was told Alibaba, M-Pesa in Kenya, even earlier, innovated earlier than Alibaba. So I think that is the achievement for Kenya ICT industry. ICT has become Kenya's most vigorous industry and was identified as a key enabler for Big Four agenda, even Vision 2030. This brings great opportunity to local ICT industry development, but also set higher demand for ICT talents and technology. Therefore, I'm so glad that Huawei's Seeds for the Future program offers a platform for ICT technology communication between China and Kenya. Companies in Kenya have committed to shouldering their CSR. In 2016, a World Bank report noted that the average number of local employees in every Chinese company in Kenya is 360, far greater than the average number that is 147 in other country's company in Kenya.
He continued to thank the Kenyan government for the support accorded to Chinese companies in Kenya, which is critical for the cooperation plan that was set out during the FOCAC summit in Beijing earlier this month.
So I encourage our friends to refer to this report to get a better understanding of Chinese company and Chinese corporations in Kenya, so as to avoid any possible mistrust and, in some cases, of out-front arguments. I would like to also take this opportunity to thank the Ministry of ICT, the ICT Authority, and the government of Kenya to support Huawei's development in Kenya, to support all the Chinese enterprises for performing in Kenya. And hereby, I also sincerely hope and full of confidence that the Kenyan government would always safeguard a friendly business environment for Chinese companies and give all full support to China-Kenya cooperation project.
ICT is the catalyst that ties all the development efforts together, and with efforts by the government such as the Presidential Digital Talent Program and Digital Skills, and coupled with private sector partnerships such as the Huawei Seeds for the Future initiative, the country is set on the right path towards a better and brighter economic future. For BrandPlus TV Business News, I am Daisy Wambua.
The Echevarria Awards Gala Dinner was held last night at the Crown Plaza Hotel, Nairobi, to fit individuals and organizations excelling at environmental, culture and heritage conservation. The theme this year was tourism, protecting culture and heritage. Take a look. The award ceremony, which is one of a kind, brings together relevant stakeholders in the ecotourism industry to celebrate the strides made and deliberate on what more needs to be done to catapult growth in the sector. Faith Othome, Minister of Culture and Tourism, Machakos County, and a judge at the awards said the country is set to enjoy an unlimited number of benefits if we fully embrace and practice ecotourism.
We are able to preserve our natural heritage for the future. That means our children, great-grandchildren, will still be able to enjoy the natural heritage that we have now. And we will continue promoting tourism. We'll be able to sustain our attractions if we do practice ecotourism. If not, then we'll go down like most other people have done.
Serena Beach Resort and Spa was one of the biggest winners of the night. One of the categories in which they emerged top is the best resort in promoting marine conservancy. According to Herman Mwasagwar, Deputy General Manager at Serena Resort Hotel and Spa Mombasa, the resort's conservancy journey has bolstered profit margins for the establishment.
I would say one is a lot of our guests are coming down because they associate our business to being green and to being protective to the marine economy. And as such, they see us to be more responsible. Whatever we do there, we're protecting nature. We partake in beach cleanup and involve guests as well, so they're very happy with that. And we've seen guests increase their stays, so that increases the bed nights to wait for the day when turtles will hatch. And really, economical, that has helped our unit.
Working within the local. Another hotly contested category won by Serena was Best Accommodation Facility in promoting culture and heritage. Richard Ndige, Head of Sustainability and Environment, Serena Beach Hotels and Resort, says Serena's conservation journey has contributed greatly to Kenya's economy.
Having a product that is different and attracting more tourists, it means there's indirect benefit to tourism. There's direct contribution to GDP. So I think that's mostly economic benefit. And not forgetting that when you come to tourism and culture and all that, you're involved in the community. So there's jobs for the community, there's recognition of the community, there's aspect of them protecting and preserving what they do when it comes to culture. So that only means that in the next 5-10 years, this is a tradition that will be maintained, and you can more or less in quotes sell it when you package it appropriately. And that just means there's just more demand, there's just more business trickling in when it comes to tourism.
There was a special recognition award given to 8-year-old Eliane Wanjiku, who's planted 400 trees so far and intends to plant more as the days go by. Eliane points out that the award is a motivation for her to do more in the eco space.
Well, this award makes me feel really proud for myself, and it's the first biggest award I've ever gotten. And I'm really proud of myself since I've started planting trees. And if I make a better choice, I'll make a better change in the world. My message to all the other kids in the world would be plant as many trees as you can, and just ask your mom and father if you can find a farm or something and make a really special tree, where you paint your hands and add your handprints. And yeah.
Thomas writes on multiple platforms. The Echevarria Award presents opportunity for creating awareness, offering necessary tools, enhancing public opinion and support in the conservation and preservation of natural and cultural heritage in Kenya, even as the drive to grow the tourism sector intensifies.
Of partnership with the local community.
Now let's take a look at the day's market performances, and here is a summary. That is how the markets performed today. But for more in-depth analysis on the same, tune in tomorrow at 8 a.m. for my next big bet with Rachel Derito and Karanja Daniel. Now let's take a look at the day's weather reports. That was all the time we had tonight on the Business Bulletin. On behalf of everyone that made it a success, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Enjoy the rest of your viewing. Good night.